like, how can I put it? When I did, I also did piano and stuff, so it's not, I didn't do a lot of other things, I always could play the music, but I was always at a wrong tempo usually. A lot. That was I could memorize the scores and all this other stuff, but actually keeping the tempo correct, it was nice when I, not so much. How are you doing? Stressful? Sorry, there's a cat that wants my attention so bad. Isn't that right, Anubis? So, when it comes down to rhythm games, it is a hit or miss. And when I did singing, I would often listen to the music a lot, so that I could be able to memorize the tempo. Well, it's good that you're doing good. So, sad that you're tired, but, I mean, can't really help much with that either. Thank you for coming. I'm still waiting for a few more of the villagers to arrive. The old bugger's treating us to another one of his speeches, I see. We're doing, getting flight in this area, and then we're continuing the role quest. Okay. I mean, but then you'd probably have a really bad headache and sore muscles. How long do you plan to keep living in abject squalor, I ask you? It's high time you brought back the quarry that once made me proud to hail from Alagana. Some of you may be too young to remember, but the quarry used to mean everything to this village. Bloody hells, when did this old codger gonna stop harping on about the good old days? It's time to open your eyes, you old daft bugger. Time's long since passed since we could sell stone here for a decent amount of gil. It's about time you face the facts. There's no coin to be had sweating away your life in some bloody quarry. It better be served out hunting my own food. That's a problem for... True. Just hear me out. If you give up on quarrying, then you'll be giving up on the village itself. Even the hardest rocks will break if you keep chiseling away at it. Life's the same. Grandfather, that's enough. I can tell you now that no one here will claim to be happy with their lot, but there's nothing that can be done. Your remonstrating with everyone is hardly going to do any good. Sweet love. Well, what do you bloody expect with that attitude? No one's going to work to improve things when even my own granddaughter has next to no motivation. There's a reason you don't see much quarrying going on anymore. There's no demand for it. We can get just fine both the stones we gathered in the past and those we salvaged from the ruined buildings. Prosperity doesn't lie in wait for us at the quarry, only the monsters. It's about time you realize that we're lucky to be alive these days. Come on, grandfather, let's go home. Blasted girl understands nothing. Of course everything's going to seem pointless if you're only walking through life. And who the hells are you anyways? I didn't ask... I ain't doing this for your amusement. Alright, Grandpa, let's get you inside. Or behind the shed. I am indeed the sayer that you speak of. Redfig... Fred sent you my way, did he? Ishnai, was it? So you're the last we have to thank for saving... we're Kratza. I can tell you you've got more fire in your belly than this entire village. Perhaps you'll be able to see that I'm not as crazy as these buggers think me. It's not that they're crazy. There's a certain amount of rationalization. It's not motivation. It's rationalization of the circumstances. Ghana owes everything to the quarry. The stones we extract were solid and pleasing to the eye to boot. We even supplied the stone to build the palace. Ah, those were the days. It was the Imperial invasion that changed everything. Those bastards thought the stone structures barbaric, favoring their cold, tasteless metallic buildings instead. They said they looked civilized. Don't make me laugh. The final blow to our way of life came when Garlemald began recruiting our youth for their own army. We lost just as many to the rebel cause. With no one left to tend the quarry, it slowly fell into ruin and is now overrun with beasts. The few of us that remained have been left to eke out a living using any means we can. I swore on Radgar's very name that we would take back the sleeping stones. This whole village would brim with vitality again. This is just me trying to get Aether Currents right now. Right after this, after I get the Aether Currents for this area, I'm gonna be doing beginning the role quest for Healer. For, Endwalker. I just need something that proves the beasts are gone from the quarry. Then the villagers would surely see fit to help me restore it to its former glory. I know this is a lot to ask of a complete stranger. People have asked for more, so don't worry. But it's not as if I'm spoiled for choice right now. Would you be able to rid the quarry of those damn monsters and bring me back 2 or soul stones? I'll be forever in your debt. It's all the way over there. Yeah, it's here in the Ruby Seas I have not touched for at least this expansion. So, we have a bit of questing to do. And I hate that it's all the way over the fuck there. It's a 61 level quest, so, let's go with my dragoon. So what have you been up to? I could... S ranks, many S ranks. Well, is the S ranks fun? Or is it mind-numbing? Probably mind-numbing now that I think about it. That was a stupid question of mine. Loud music to play in the background while you... Is that for an achievement? What do you get out of that achievement? Is there something like a mount or a pet? Clothing? Oh, I was gonna say, 'cause you hate yourself? Ah. Well. Achievement Hunter, the other... say, name for I hate myself. Ah. More hating yourself is what you're saying. Yuck. Yike, yike. Nice to see you return. It is nice if you return to the position of a certain stone. God, that's mean. So, like, each roll of tank? True. Especially if you have a good healer on some of them. Yes, this is exactly what I'm after. Let us not waste time in showing them the others. It's far too long since the last ray of hope shone on the villagers' miserable lives. Well, good that I'm just gonna show up, do that, and then leave the fuck alone. I did manage to get all the... Oh, really? Other delicate situation. Hey, you're the adventurer who's everybody's been talking about. Aren't you? Just the woman I wanted to see. You have a bit of time to spare, I hope. I sadly do. It seems a bloody miracle we managed to take Algeri without spilling a drop of blood, but it was all thanks to one man, a man the Alliance would very much like to speak with. Getting him to come into questioning, however, was proved more in trouble than we thought. It's not my place to be dealing with this, to be honest, but I think it'd be best resolved the matter quietly if possible. Things could get messy around here if the Alliance or Resistance starts cooking up a fuss. I'd like to draw attention if I leave my post, but you adventurers are free to move about as you please. What do you say? Could you give me a hand? You adventurers are good folk. I mean, sometimes. Now, I really shouldn't say much more out here in the open. You best go and speak with him yourself. Bot his name, and he can tell you the rest. I love that he got a sigh out of me for that. The adventurer who slew Lord Van Baelson. Sorry. So they sent you to claim my head, then? Brazen Brook sent you to help? Oh, thank heavens. You see, I'm actually a Centaurian in the Garlean forces. Now, before you do anything rash, let me explain. When I learned of the Allied forces' approach, I knew that we had no way of repelling them, so I ordered all my men to retreat from Alagiri. I then planned to turn myself in, but I ran into certain complications. I can see you're unconvinced. Tell you what, why not ask the village about me? When you hear what they had to say, I think you'll come to understand why I couldn't turn myself in. But the place would be the same without him. We certainly have no intention of sending to be butchered by the Alliance. I mean, we have Maxima with us, so I mean... But this is a bit before that, so can't say much. Nope, I have not touched them. At all. Where'd you hear that name? I wouldn't have anyone speak ill of him. Unless you're looking to pick a fight, then you'll keep your mouth shut. I'm not a coward. I just find other stories very much more interesting. What do you want with Bot? He's not in trouble, is he? We already told the ally scum they can't have him. It's not cowardice. It's just knowing which stories are actually interesting me. And that one is not it. There you are. Now, do you see the cause for my hesitation? In light of the reaction to my being arrested, the Alliance has allowed me to remain here for the time being, but for all intents and purposes, I am a war prisoner. The villagers initially meant to keep me hidden, but harboring one's enemy is a serious crime no matter whose side you're on. And I've heard what the Alliance does to those who help Garleans. The stuff of nightmares, I tell you. My execution is assured the moment they take me into custody, but if the villagers should take arms in protest, they don't deserve a bloody fate. Brazenbook has made a valiant effort to assuage people's angers, but it's only so much a man can do in his position. I know how strange this may seem, but I want you to convince the people of Augiri to allow for my surrender. Oh, cool. I'm disappearing. I'll come back to this, you know, when I finish, you know, Endwalker, like I said. Might do a little bit more of, Redania later tonight. Might. Who knows? It's still quicker if I jump over here than jump back. And the way I plan to do, at least for some of the locations, is what would be the, like, when I do the Gridania areas, I might just do it as a bard or something. Something that's from that area. That's one of the lower levels. Classes. So that it also both fits the area and, gives it XP. So, RPG Sex Capital of Final Fantasy XIV will be me playing the ninja, since it built off the rogue. This is for the DPS classes. Ponderous Porter appears to have a quest. You're not from around here, are you? Never seen an Almegan strike up a conversation with a resident. But seeing as you're already talking, I have a job that's right for an outsider like you. Talk with the girl behind that building over there. She'll give you all the details. She's a bit testy, mind you. I would be a bit testy too if somebody would send random people to me while I'm behind a building. I would think that they're about to do something with me. Hey, Nosewald! How are you? Hi. What were you playing? About time. Here, take this supply crate and trade it with the merchant for gear for food. Usually he's lurking around an alleyway somewhere. Shifty bastard. You'll know what you see him. Do not tell him that Radadan native sent you. There'll be no grubs for us if you do. And that's down there. I'll have to do that circle around. Ah! Final Fantasy 15 and Until Dawn. Nice! Say, you're playing the boy band game. Oh, ouch. I heard... No, I'm not saying... This is a key I heard. One of those quick fix things is put it in a bag of rice. And the rice will absorb if it's a certain amount of water damage, but I repeat, this is one of those internet things that I'm not sure I could sit there and say 100% would it work or not, because I haven't tried it. And, like, dried rice, it's not, like, you know, uncooked rice kind of thing. An important individual is yet to visit Cold Hearth. You're one of those adventurers, aren't you? Traveled all this way... Oh, travel this way and that, always helping folks. Well, I believe I speak for all of us here when I say we need your help. Do I? Okay. I wasn't sure. Because I tend to keep... If I'm gonna get my phone anywhere, it's usually staying away from the bathroom area. I'm sure you've noticed, but we haven't had much time. The only reason we get by is a merchant who comes by and sells the supplies. I say sell, but but it's so cheap you might as well give it away. The trouble is, with so much on word, he suddenly stopped coming, and I'd go and search for him myself, but anyone who's kept watch while I'm gone has been conscripted by those damn Imperials. Would you try asking around Radada if anyone's seen him? He's always going about there, so I figured it's a good place to start. Well, I'm gonna have to roam around, like, real quickly, go down here. Then teleport back here, then run back around here. That's understandable. I usually have it making loud noises so that I can hear it in the shower if... So I don't... Because I am clumsy. I am absolutely clumsy. And I have this absolute fear of dropping it in, like, anything water-related. Okay, let's see. And it's also technically not my phone. It's my sister's phone. I'm on her plan, and it's her old phone that she gave us. It said alleyway. Is it all the way? Yeah, true. Highlander merchant. Oh, there. Can't believe I ran right by you. Thankfully, not me, but my mom. I don't know why. For her versus me. You want to trade? You'll show me the goods first, and we'll maybe make a deal. Gods, these are military issue Mark XL3 sedatives. High quality stuff. Someone snatched a batch a while ago, but you wouldn't believe how quickly the Imperial martial medicines sell. Folks are always on edge around here, you see, never knowing when the Empire might decide to launch an assault. So some get so worked up that they can scarcely sleep without a chemical encouragement. How much you want of them? I'm a bit curious on how you came by the stash, but I'll take it off your hands all the same. Food? It's just food? Well, alright, here's a sack full of assortable edibles. Nice doing business with you. Luckily, what my mom does, though, is she has specific ringtones for specific people, and she ignores all the rest, so it's... Cat, what are you doing? Here's the heavens, and praise to you, stranger. This will be first proper meal we had in date. Go back and speak with my large friend, if you would. I'd wager he'd like to show his thanks as well. And this is for a different quest. Yeah, I've heard of him. His name's Franck. Says he's doing business these people a favor, but I think he's up to something. Merchant traveling at Cold Hearth? Wait, that's the guy in league with the Imperials. Isn't he? Now that you mention it, I haven't seen him in a while. Surprised to see us trading in Imperial supplies? My quick-fingered friend once worked in a storeroom in Castrum, Albania, and swiped those sedatives before she left. The settlement's full of those who are used as labor for the Imperial army. The folk in Algiri might have traded with the Empire, but even they spit on the Radians. The army's whipped curs, as they called us. I mean, maybe you could find a therapist that is as stubborn as him, but the problem is he probably won't keep going to this therapist either. That's why I need you to make the deal. If one of us dared to set foot in that town, they chase us out with a hail of stones, or worse. But now we can eat our fill, get our strength back, and try to move on. Kind-hearted heroes like you are a godsend. Cold Hearth? Why would anybody sell their wares in that ghost town? Yep, I was to say. We're gonna have to do another circle around, aren't we? That's kind of like what I heard of with narcissists. Therapists often don't tell them that they're narcissists because they know that if they did, they'd stop visiting. And you can't really try and get them to help if they get offended by what they're being told. They're asking about me in Cold Hearth. I'd love to help, but the situation has gotten complicated, you see. The reason why I was selling them so cheap is because someone else was footing the bill. Some Imperial soldier said he grew up there. He went to the Garleans willingly, if you believe it. They made him a watchman at one of their labor camps, and he's been funneling all his pay to me, granted I keep peddling his goods at Cold Hearth. I'm afraid his friends and family would refuse his gifts after turning his back on them, so he got the smart idea of sending me up there, selling whatever they need for the next to nothing. The thing is, he hasn't contacted me in days. A shame, too. On my next trip, I was supposed to deliver this bottle of arak. It's hard to come by nowadays, but he paid me good money to find it. Would you mind taking it there for me? As for this conversation, I'll leave it up to you whether or not you tell anyone. All things considered, I think he might have wanted someone to know. I'm already forgetting what the... But... Da, 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 da. All will be better when I get flight. Also, that means that I almost have it all for this expansion. If I wasn't so lazy in one of the other locations as well. Yeah, Ruby Sea is the other one. I should probably... There's two other things I should probably do if I remember to do them, is I need to start doing the custom stuff. Outfits at Idleshire. Probably should do that while I'm thinking of it after I turn in this quest. Why did I do that? Found any sign of the merchant? He was paid to come here by an Imperial turncoat? They worked as a labor camp? No, it can't be. Potter of Ark. My son said someday we'd... Never mind about the merchant. Here, it's not much, but you deserve it. Thank you for this. Alright. Back to being a healer. Else. Wounded fighter, mortified fighter. It's my own damn fault for being so careless. What must... Don't worry. That won't let me. Knowing what they are, who they were, can any of us end up like that? Although the soldiers were able to lead the beasts away from the village and culled a lot of them, victory did not come easy. It's times like these that our lack of healers is sorely felt. I dare say they've yet to receive any treatment at all. See that their wounds while I survey any stragglers that may escape. Once I've completed my patrol, I'll head to the village to gather witnesses to report. Look for me there. Oh, I'm actually casting healing rather than just saying aiding. Gods be good, I feel reborn. Hold on, you're Ishnai, right? I can't believe it! You're the one who inspired me to join the Resistance in the first place, and now you've come to save me in my hour of need? I'll never forget this. Thank you, thank you! I really shouldn't have inspired you for anything, but hey. I saw them change right before my eyes. Those weren't monsters I killed, but an innocent men. But it had to be done. There were others we had to protect, and thanks to you, I can continue to do just that. Once I made my way back, I'll give a full account. The families. They'll understand. Flight back! Arenvald! It's good of you to come all this way, though I never doubted for a moment that you wouldn't. For treating the wounds of these soldiers, you have my thanks, and theirs, no doubt. It seems that they are indeed successful in slaying all the beasts, if my search is any indication, but we must remain vigilant. I've also spoken with several people who've witnessed the moment of the transformation, though the ideal has understandably left them rather shaken. I've heard you've been through a fair few ordeals yourself, Ishnai. Just a few. Timey-wimey noises. As for me, I've been keeping busy with this and that, like getting the hang of this wheelchair. Obviously, it has its limitations, but it gets me where I need to go. I've been working on this with this new organization as well, which is what brought me here, but no sooner had I arrived had those locals turned. By the way, do you think that, you know, Sid could make you, like, I don't know, mechanical legs or, like, whatever, braces or whatever? You could try that? I mean, we have enough kind of robotic things running around. Ragfred, I heard that you were there when it happened. What can you tell us? The ones who underwent the change are the very people we were trying to help. Perhaps I should explain from the beginning. You probably should have done that from the start. The meeting between lies held in the royal palace marked the turning point for all Gerbania. It spurred us into open dialogue with people and communities we'd otherwise would have shunned. But there were still so many problems to be addressed, and countless souls struggling to build new lives for themselves. I decided to form a volunteer group, the Silver Griffins. Our main concern is the welfare of Almegans who sided with the Empire, for whatever reason, and helping them find their place in society. In particular, the surviving families from the Crania Lupi. Sorry. One second. Just deciding to finally use a management thing. Because, you know, I haven't been running streams for how long? You've changed your tune. Make no mistake, I've not forgiven them. I don't have that in me, and I doubt I ever will. But the memory of that day in the palace when Fodola asking to be locked up again after saving us all, it stayed with me. It got me thinking about why she and the other youths would commit such atrocities. Why they'd swear to serve the Empire, and the answer was simple. Because they'd seen what we'd seen and suffered much the same. In a hell where all were condemned, they chose to betray one brother to save another. That's how the Garleans win. Not by breaking you, but by making you break yourself. By making that choice the right one for a man at the end of his tether. Healing only begins with liberation. And some scars will never will, regardless. Those who've returned from foreign lands may have difficulty carving out a living here, but those who pledge allegiance with Garlemald... This is not the Alamego we dreamed of, but after 20 years of misery, I will not see it all thrown away because we can't come to terms with the past. That's why I formed the Silver Griffins, to see that no one is cast aside. And it's a cause I support, and that's what brought me here today. I've been acting as a mediator. Aye, and in a short time he's been with us. He's proved himself a natural, but despite our early successes, the families of the Skulls continue to refuse our help. I think I see where this is leading. They're the ones who turned, yes? It comes as no surprise. Their kin tormented and murdered fellow Almegans. Anyone with a conscience would feel shame and guilt, and for some, it might be too much to bear. I think I might know why they're turning us away. It's a sensitive matter, though, so let's go somewhere we won't be overheard. It's about one of the men who turned. I saw his memories. Ooh, Echo! With the Echo, I'll pretend not to understand it, but tell us what you learned. I only caught a glimpse, but that was enough. It was during the occupation, a man raising a son. Only 2 of them, but they were family. To keep his body clothed and fed, his boy clothed and fed, he chose to side with the Empire. He knew what others would say, but he did it anyways. And so is branded a traitor. Every day his son listened to the jeers, the insults, but there's nothing he could do. When he came of age, he joined the Skulls and hoped it would make life easier for his father. He dared not question his orders, no matter how depraved. He died in the revolution, but not before killing his own countrymen. His father wept not for the betrayer and the murderer, but for the man he could have been. He blamed it all on himself right up until this change took him. I can only pray and his boy have finally found peace where they were denied. No, because when he turns into a beast, the soul basically is disintegrated. by what Y'shtola said. Alas, theirs is an all too familiar tale. They cannot forgive themselves, nor can they see how anyone else could. Their sins of their kins weigh heavy on them. They think themselves undeserving of our compassion. If they carry on like that, they'll turn into beasts. We've got to help them before it's too late. Growing up half Garlean in Alamigo, I know how it feels to be shunned and hated, to hate myself. But so long as we give ourselves and others a chance, we can change for the better. And while I may not be as clever or as eloquent as someone like Alphino, I know I can make a difference. I might not be quite the swordsman I used to be, but I'm still a fighter at heart. And I owe it to Albula and Alui to make the most of this life so long as I've got it. We Silver Griffins will give our all to see that no more beasts or blasphemies ravage Gurbania again. So, Commander Alden, do we have your approval to continue our work? Of course! There's no enemy more formidable than despair, and I'd be a fool to refuse your help. That even a single of our people has succumbed to this transformation is proof of our failure to protect them. Therefore, I pledge the Silver Griffins my unconditional support. Together we will prevail. Now that we have Ishnai on hand to aid the troops, I believe we are ready to face any beast we encounter. Though I fear it's only a matter of time before the others appear, I ask that you lend the Silver Griffins your assistance in the meantime. Very good. For now, let's return to the city. Do you call that a city? Or the village? No, or that city. Ba bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba. For those who have harbored guilt, do so not because they are weak of heart, but because they have failed to meet the demands they make of themselves. So it's the same for me when I believed my failures had led to the Sultana's assassination. The despair and self-loathing were indescribable. I was fortunate that you and the other Scions came to my rescue, that I had friends who convinced me that I was more than the sum of my worst mistakes. Now that we must do the same for the people of Alamigo, we must help them to heal and find the strength to, if not forgive, then come to terms with who we were, and so that we can look to the future, look to who we can be, who we should aspire to be. This is precisely why the work of the Silver Griffins is so vital. Though our problems are not new, the emergence of this deadly phenomenon means we cannot afford to delay addressing them any longer, and we will be better for it ultimately. Your eyes, and always one day you'll understand why. Maybe we've decided. Once we've decided a course of action, you'll be the first to know. Until then, may Ragar watch over and keep you. Well, I won't be going very far because you'll probably have something. Oh, would you look at that? Though I'm kind of bored of this right now. Come on, we can do this. We're hoping you'd stop by. I'll show you to Commander Alden at once. And since I think we can get pretty far in this. You're a welcome sight as always, Ishnai. I did not go far. Aye, and a lot has happened since we last spoke. Really? Did it now? Uh-huh. So much. We Silver Griffins have been busy. As I have my men, but I'm afraid we're a little to show for our efforts. Though we've been searching high and low for blasphemy, we've seen neither hide nor hair of it. Unfortunately, everyone else has had better luck. We've received reports of lesser beasts throughout Girdvanya, and putting them down is as important as hunting the blasphemy that got away. To complicate matters, rumors have been circulating that these beasts were Skullskins. While this was true of the recent incident in Ghana, we cannot have people jumping to conclusion, given what they might feel tempted to do. Hi, Apocalypse! It has been suggested that we take these individuals into custody for their own protection as much as the safety of ours, but that would only isolate them further and give credence to the rumors. The recent unrest has hindered the efforts of the Silver Griffins to no end. Therefore, I ask you to aid them in their endeavors and see if there's aught that can be done. Also, you'll be joined by another volunteer. Try not to be too surprised. Fadola? I thought I felt my ears burning. Hi, sweetie. I said I don't need a keeper, but did they bloody listen? Did they bollocks? Come on. Don't be like that. Is what you agreed to. Besides, you never know when you might need in need of a healer. And there's none better than Ishnai. I could give off a list of people who are better than me, but please. He's right. You've earned a measure of trust, and this shouldn't be taken to mean otherwise. Thick as thieves are we now? And there's no need for this sodding collar, aye? We all know some is not coming off anytime soon, but if this is how it's to be, then fine. So long as she keeps out of my way. I want the two of you to visit the Silver Griffin's headquarters in Algana. Several relatives of the Crane Lupi have agreed to meet with them, and we should do with a measure of precaution. If anyone so much as mentions the skull, I'll deal with it, understood? Let's get this over with. She's as much of a risk of turning as anyone. Maybe even more so. You don't need the echo to see the weight she's carrying. She's still not got a handle on her own echo, either. Sometimes the visions come without warning, and with such force, it's all she can do to stay standing. There's no telling what might happen if she comes face to face with the families of her former comrades. So look out for her, please. I wish there was more I could do for her myself. But we got all got our own duties, and I'll see them through to the end. So must we all. Follow Fedorla's lead. We'll be counting on you both, but be ready to step in even if she curses you for it. Yeah, I know. I'm from Alamigo. Say, why don't I go rescue Alamigo? Is Alamigo your entire personality? Alamigo! Oh, okay. Fedola's not the sort to ask for help, so make sure she doesn't get in over her head, would you? I mean, I am also not the one to ask for help. I had a feeling Radabon would send you Ishnai, but as for her... If you got any complaints, take it up with the commander. No, it's fine. Truth be told, ever since that day at Royal Palace, I've been thinking. Stop. You don't want to say it, and I don't want to hear it. To the matter at hand, then. We Silver Griffins have been working on to support the relatives of the Crane Lupi, but one family has gone missing, a mother and her parents, who live together under the same roof. One of ours pays them a visit, but they're nowhere to be seen, and we went to check, they found the house had been torn to shreds. Thick gouges on the floor and walls, made by beast claws by the looks of them. You think they've turned? Aye, it's the most likely explanation. Please, do what you must before anyone else is hurt. There's no time to waste. I'll head west, you head east. And never the twine shall meet. Cat. What are you doing? Kinda glad. Now that I did get the, flight thing, because it would have been annoying running back and forth with this. Hostile presence. Say, the funny thing is, when it says you sense a hostile's presence, it's more like they sense me, and I'm gonna absolutely wreck them. What's that? It's taking compiled plus the compiled damage. Oh, nice. From microcosm thing. They'll say, I am the danger to these people. Crumpled letter. In the dirt you spy an envelope containing a crumpled tear-stained letter. Read the letter. Dear Mother, I hope this letter finds you well. Time is short, so I must keep this brief. Although I've never done anything to make you proud, I promise you things will be different when the war is over. Until then, take care, and know that I love you with all my heart. Place in the better turn to find the others. Hey. Lightning Spirit felt like he wanted to die. There's a Redding Wing. Appears to be a Redding Wing. The Redding Wing. Why am I saying Redding Wing? Wedding ring with the name and date engraved on the side. Seems no clues to be found inside your fort. Wedding ring. Reddit. Reddit! It's Reddit! That's the thing. Ah, reading! What's that? I heard you did a 10-hour stream you weren't planning on doing yesterday. No, of course not. So your brain is entirely here right now, isn't it? Absolutely. What's done is done. Did you find anything? Then it is as we feared. I found and killed a third. It was carrying this. A matching ring. I'll deliver these effects to their next of kin and arrange for a funeral, or as close to one as possible under the circumstances. There's no changing the past. We'll always carry it and the scars, but no matter who we were or what we did, we are all Megans then and now. The Empire was our enemy then, and now it's despair. Good words and deeds will serve us best in this fight. Weapons even an old man like me can yet wield. Thanks to the two of you, the missing villagers may be finally laid to rest, and I and the other Silver Griffins will redouble our effort to prevent any further tragedies. I finished checking the wares, sir. Everything's in order. Good work. Take a rest, lad. You've more than earned it. Keep this to yourself. but Everett's younger brother was a member of the Crane Lupi. He's the exact sort of person we're helping. Like many of the others, he was reluctant to talk to us at first, but after we gained his trust, we were able to help him find work. He's taken to it well. It's her, the butcher! Traitor, all of us, kinslayers deserve hate and death. Death and hate. Talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to him! Get back! Get back! Stay away from her. Fordola saved your girl's life. I know, but she's... It happened in an instant. That poor lad. But it had to be done, and without hesitation. It would have been much worse otherwise. Could you go after Fordola and see to her wounds? I'll do what I can here. Drive to me. Where'd she go? Over here somewhere. Oh, there she is. I didn't have to get out anything for that. Okay. I'm fine. Leave me be. I said I don't need your help. It's only your injuries I'm worried about. Bloody hells. If you're here to patch me up, get on with it quietly. I know, right? And make sure to end every sentence with nya, nya, nya. As a curl can't change its spots, and there's no washing the blood off my hands, nor would I, even if I could. Yeah. Taking up Garlean's steel was the first choice, but not the last. Like the first kill, the hardest. Every choice after that came easier and easier until I stopped counting, stopped caring. You tell yourself it's right. It's for the greater good. You give the order and feel the ground tremble as the cannons fire. And when the dust settles, you and your own men are buried beneath the revel. And you tell yourself, Me too. Ah! I'm not gonna do any screams that loud. Mom might actually think. You mustn't give in. That man in the village. I saw his past. I'm the one who killed his brother. I'll be alright. I just need a moment. Can you wait with me? Everything the skulls fought for, the sacrifices we made, the things we did, in the end, it was all for nothing. Sometimes I look back on the road I walked, and the bitterness I can still taste, and I wonder if I had grown up in another time, in another place. Would I have done the same to different people? Was it always in me to be me? All I know is people would have been better off if I'd never been born. Oh, don't wander us this. But I was, and I dragged others into hell of my own making. I remember those two brothers in particular, childhood friends of mine. The older one enlisted with me, but the younger, he never would have made it as a soldier. He was too kind, too good. Arenvald died at the Spectacle Imperialis, but his brother's still out there, somewhere. Not that I've got the courage to face him after what I did. I hope he's found the life he deserves. Not all of the Crani and Lupi at the towers died that day, though, and I know from one of my visions that at least one survived, Haldrof. I'm glad he made it out. Too many others didn't. Too many others still needed our help. I helped make this blasphemy, and by Rhaegar, I'll kill the bastard if it's the last thing I do. Anyways, that's enough out of me. I'll be heading back to the city to make my report. I suggest you do likewise. I felt such so real. I have ever known the pain of sacrifice, but I am on my mind. Welcome back. Fadola's already given her account, and I'd like to hear yours too. Back sheep, have you any will? So she almost turned into a beast herself. We'll have to take that into consideration before sending her in the field again. As far as events in Algana are concerned, the two of you did well. Despite the appearance of several beasts, you were able to prevent any further casualties. However, this serves as confirmation that those with connections to Crani Lupi should be considered as at a risk of turning. Over the years, many of them have drifted away from the larger settlements and have taken to living in secret. Others make their way to Udall as refugees, including some individuals of interest. As such, we'll be working closely with the Immortal Flames to locate and offer support to those refugees in particular. In fact, I plan to make the journey there for an audience with the Sultana. Once my preparations are complete, perhaps you might accompany me. I'm sure she'll be glad to see you. That took no time. Here, to see Commander Alden, I take it? This way, please. Yo! Will you be speaking or will I? Our request for audience with the Sultana has been accepted. Before we depart, I shall share what we've learned since we last spoke. The blasphemy continues to elude us, and all while driving others to succumb and to despair in turn. Even with Alamegan and Udall's forces searching for the signs of the beast and more potential victims, we have yet to discern a pattern in the chaos. Nevertheless, if our blasphemy is like others, it is believed Its behavior is likely dictated by the passions and regret of the man it once was. Therefore, any information concerning him and the life he led may help us track it down before it strikes again. We don't want people to shun families of the skulls any more than they already have, but the fact remains that the vast majority of the beasts have already been born from them. They're the ones greatest at risk of turning without question. Fodola concerns me too. She came close to transforming once before, so I think it might be best if we kept her out of this mission after all. She deserves the chance to make amends. I am inclined to agree with Ishnai. She was able to resist the transformation and had shown no signs of succumbing since then. If she were to do her part, I would say we let her. I mean, I could always beat her till she behaves also. If only I could go in her stead. Actually, I was hoping you'd come with us to meet the Sultana. I believe she would benefit greatly from your understanding of the struggles of people face. You've gained the from the experience too. While she is not the sort to brandish a sword and charge into battle, you'll soon discover she's a champion of her own arena, as brave as any warrior. I doubt she'll have much to learn from the likes of me, but it would be an honor to make her acquaintance. Arenvald and I will go ahead and wait for you in the hustling strips. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Husting strips. We'll see you anon. Can't say that correctly, apparently, this side of... I'm having a moment. Having multiple moments. Oh god. Who am I? Where am I? No question. Too many questions. All the questions. What am I doing? Who am I? Why did I go that way than the other way? Have multiple moments. Yeah, I know, right? Have all the moments. Are you sure, Ishnai? The question starts going around in circles on this one. Pashapan! I only let her out of my sight for a moment. She's left against Sultana? Ha! It's my first time being here since I discharged myself from the infirmary without telling anyone. Buddy mind. I must remember to stop by and offer my thanks and an apologies. What questions do I have? Why am I alive? What's the meaning of the world? What's the meaning of the universe? Who created the universe? You know? What's the meaning of life? Yeah, I am a deep fake, yes. Master Papashan was just telling us about Namano, or should I say Lady Lyras, has gone out another of her jots about the city. Though it's not my place to question her grace's judgment, I do wish she had consulted me before running off on her own. And perhaps I'm overthinking it, but it's unlike her to keep guests waiting. Oh no. They can be other things too. And it's kind of scary when the two of those that aren't porn and are still deepfakes merge too in the porn slash deepfake. If I may say so, the blasphemy is appearing throughout the land. It's a dangerous time to go in for a stroll. I suspect there's many... That may be the very reason. Deepfake corn, yes. See for yourself how the citizenry fares in these trying times. Even so, it's downright reckless. We'll find her, though. No, I couldn't possibly allow such esteemed guests to... Come now. We might be here on official business, but we're old friends. And as you may remember, I have a knack for tracking down errant sultanas. Don't have moments like little deepfake corn person. Yeah, I know, right? What you need to worry about is the deepfake fox person, though. Some may say a knack is a rather charitable... I shall be glad of the assistance. I'll take a look around. Quizzing the locals will give me an opportunity to learn of recent's going on in Udal, too. Well then, there's no time like the present. Fear not. With me on the case, it'll be over before you know it. You mean with me on the case? If she's supposed to be meeting us here, maybe we should wait for her to come to us? That's not always how it works. Just between you and me, Radabon has never had much luck in finding Lady Litra. Rather, the opposite, which isn't to say he's misrepresenting his capabilities. Perhaps his recollection of events simply differs from reality. Easiest way to say that, you're wrong, sir. Where are we going? New battlefield. Okay. No, I as the main protagonist find everything for everyone else. So my tank farm, Twimble, yes. We were talking sometime in Discord one time about people that like immediately to like deserve a skirt put on them from the boss. Is somebody wrote out in for a candidate to, you know, shirk aggro onto as a tank. And this is... I'm not going to say the person's name, but people might be able to figure this one out. It's hello there, and it's with W's. Hello there. I thank you, Uwu, for having me as Uwu Black Mage. I vow to be Uwu Heaven's Uwu greatest enemy, and to do big damage, and fair of mechanics. Heavens adjust. Yes, I know! That was somebody who wrote that in fucking Raid as like an announcement thing, and I'm like sitting here going, oh, I have found the person to circ aggro onto. I was playing as a healer at the time, but it was still one of those things. Pair wish. Yeah. It's been some time since I last combed these streets for young Lilira. As a matter of fact, Papashan and I would compete to see which of us could find her first. As I recall, most contests ended in my favor. The trick, you see, is to look past the disguise and pay attention to the gestures and mannerisms. The tiniest movements might give her away. Come, I'll show you how it's done. Radabon's following? I mean, I'm following Radabon? Pair wish! She's fond of perusing the stalls here. Ooh. She's by the big tree. What if she's been abducted? This way. Really? Radabon, just let me do this. It's literally my job as an adventurer. Never known her to be this elusive. She's right behind you, isn't she? I might be kidding, might not, who knows. Hi. That's odd. I tried her usual haunts, so unless she's hiding inside a barrel or something equally nonsensical, she must be elsewhere. Gosh, why did she choose now of all times to run off? What if she's been abducted or run afoul of a beast? Perhaps we could try asking around again? You're losing your mind slowly? Uwu? I was about to suggest the same. We'll find a lot quicker if we start by narrowing down who we're going to ask. Come to think of it, Papa Shan said something. Papa Shan caught my ear. He thought Nomino went to this excursion because of the emergence of the blasphemies and the beasts. No, woo! You'll feel peace when you lose it all. To better understand how our people are coping with the situation, so if she's driven to seek out the most desperate and destitute, Pearl Lane then. When I ask you to lead the way, I'll admit, my ability to track Meeson's persons may have dulled somewhat. Sure. Everything's never been plagued by pickpockets and the likes. I'll watch your back, so go ahead and you give it a search. I find it hilarious that, we first follow him, and now he's following us. Ask about Pearl Lane. It may not be immediately obvious. Conditions here have improved of late. Her Grace continues to support the rebuilding efforts in Gerbanya, which has led to the creation of jobs for many of the locals, both here and on the other side of Belisar's wall. Speak about the poor. In every society, there are havens. There's haves and have-nots, and seldom this divide is more sorely felt than here in Uda or America. Many of the young and able-bodied people work for Lolorito as guards, though he earns more than an afternoon than most will in a lifetime. No, Lady Lilaria. Rodapon, what are you doing here? And Ishnai too. Well, I'm glad to see you both. Our meeting's not yet due to commence for several bells. What is the meaning of this? We are worried, and good reason. There are far too dangerous times to be roaming around alone, Your Grace. Some things never change, but I assure you, I'm quite capable of looking after myself, in my own city of all places. And more importantly, I wish to observe firsthand how the people have been faring of late, then I might be better prepared to participate in our discussion later. But I have finished, and you will be comforted to hear. Then pray allow us to escort you to more amenable surroundings. Would you care to ride on my shoulder? Certainly not! You've already attracted more than enough attention! Daddy Radovon was told no. Girth long. Party har. Not happening. Whatever the girth long is thinking, not happening. If you're in stream with me, not happening. If you're wondering, there was, while I was in that cutscene, a person, Girth Long, Girth Long, that's the name of his name, first and last name, bows courteous to you, prays before you, gently pats the fox kit. I nicely did a courteous bow, but, bow, but I'm not doing anything else. Nope, we aren't touching that. I'm being courteous. I have a feeling the search would have taken longer if Radobun had been left to his own devices. I have faith who would find her. Yeah. Yeah, me and the commander, not just me. Ha. Ha ha. I thank you all for making the journey here during these difficult times. It is my pleasure to properly make your acquaintance. On behalf of the people of Eorzea, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude for your continued dedication to our cause. With respect, Your Grace, I'm just a soldier. Was a soldier. Still, I say, Commander Alden would not have made such a distinction. Neither will I. You yet serve your people and proved a solace to many of the Alamigos most vulnerable. And if we are to deal with this threat, we must forearm ourselves with the knowledge I understand you've come bearing information regarding the blasphemy and its victims. We have indeed. And we shall talk about it, you know, not in the chambers rather than out here where other people can hear. Or maybe walk by, you know. Hence, the need to locate families of Crani Lopi members who have fled to Thanlan. There's no end to the struggles faced by Alamigan refugees, and those who have once pledged allegiance to the Empire are no exception. But rest assured that irrespective of their pasts, all will be treated with an even hand. All will be afforded such aid that I am able to provide. Magnanimous as always, Your Grace. If I may be so bold, I have a question. What do you have in mind for those most at risk of undergoing the change? I believe there's but one recourse. Earnest and open dialogue. While some are born into unimaginable wealth, others suffer great hardship and oppression. The circumstances of our birth are beyond our control, our fate subject to the whims of the gods, and some would argue. I once thought myself a prisoner to my fate, a figurehead, helpless to watch as on my people starved, a powerless puppet. I wanted nothing more than to cast aside and free us all, but failed for my naivety, and it was afforded a second chance for my privilege. The world is unfair, terribly so, but we have the power to push back against inequalities and injustice, if not overcome them on blessed occasions. To love our neighbor and share in life's bounties, to open our hearts and come together as one. True words were never spoken. But without the support of the people, such words are not but vain platitudes. Thankfully, my recent attempts to make inroads with the monitorists have met with some success. Despite differing views on many subjects, we yet strive to find common ground. Common ground. We've been pouring all of our efforts into aiding families of the Crani Lupai, and while it seemed to help to a degree, some have still succumbed and turned. Of course, they're not the only ones in danger. Alamigans everywhere, whether they sided with the Empire, fought for the Resistance, who were caught in the middle, they all suffered. They all wake up in the night at times, haunted by memories of death and despair. We know what can happen if those feelings are left to fester. The legacy of the Imperial occupation will not soon be forgotten, but rather than seek to forget, mayhap it's necessary to remember, to acknowledge the truth and accept the truth in it, that they may properly mourn those who they have lost. Aye, a remembrance. I propose we hold a memorial ceremony for those who died during the war. Everyone, no matter who they were or what they did, let them be loved, let them be hated, but above all, let them be remembered. In the remembering the of the dead, in their honor and their sin, we the living of Alamigo may yet find a sliver of common ground. That's a noble sentiment, but bringing together people who have reason to distrust one another and risk inflaming tensions could be a recipe for disaster. Then again, we can't keep ignoring the myriad in the room and do nothing to address the situation. As long as we leave it to the individuals to decide whether or not to attend the ceremony, I think it's worth a try. Organizing an event of this scale will require a great deal of effort, so I offer my full support. Once you know what's needed, come to me and we'll put the plan into action. Obviously, some will balk at the idea, which is perfectly understandable, so I'll be listening to their opinions as well. After all, we want it to be a ceremony that brings Alamegans together. I was wondering, Your Grace, if I might ask you about your approach to, well, talking to people, winning them over. As you can tell, I'm no politician, so I'll be grateful for any advice you could share with me. Why, I would be delighted to. As a matter of fact, I have a new number of matters I wish to discuss with you. On that note, I suggest you and I return to Alamigo. Did we pick him up in the chair, or him while in the chair, to get him up the stairs? It just occurred to me on that thought. Or did we carry him and then pull the chair behind? Because there aren't ramps here, there's stairs. Don't question it, actually, don't stop. I wonder if it could levitate. I mean, they have the magic for it. Professor Xavier, this shit. The relationship between Udall and Alamigo is one which I cherish deeply. It is imperative we coordinate our efforts in facing this crisis. To see the Sultana grow to become such a capable and compassionate leader, it brings a tear to my eyes. Putting them in inventory. I wonder what Alba and Uli would say if I could tell them I had a chat with the Sultana. I can hardly believe it myself. It isn't rude that I actually said any of that, now that I just realized. Because, I mean, I just feel like it's something of an import to some degree if you're going to add somebody with a wheelchair in there. Or it's just me being very specific with understanding needs. Oh, I can? Okay. I did not realize that. Since I already had... Okay. I did a bit of this at the beginning of the stream, so I might go back and do a bit of it more. You know, one of those things of taking a brick, yes, a break. Do story, come back to that, do a bit more story. No, Arenvald would make a good impression, but he's outdone himself. Not only has he found a new avenue in life to explore, he's taking it with a considerable aplomb. And while his proposed memorial ceremony is bound to have its detractors... Okay. I have faith that many will come around. Not all, but enough, I pray. For our part, we must stand at the ready for whatever may occur. I shall send word if there are any developments. Quite sure there's gonna be. As soon as you walk away, she's gonna have like a thing. Yep, see, there! Arenvald wishes to put your considerable reputation to good use. Oh, I don't already? There you are, Ishnai. Commander Alden asked me to convey you the following information. At present, we are looking into reports of missing relatives of the Crane Lupi. With the cooperation of the Silver Griffins, we currently search for any clues about their whereabouts. Thanks to the concerted efforts of Raggedfirth and the others, the general public has been willing to cooperate with our investigation. Though there may still be harbor feelings of distrust for their collaborators and their kin, they've grown more receptive to our cause on the whole. Arenvald is making steady progress in preparing for the memorial ceremony. He plans to host a meeting between the various community leaders to go over fine details. In fact, he was wondering whether you could assist him in delivering the invitations. If you can spare the time, you should be able to find him in the Mercantile District. Anyways, that's all for now. I've had a few other matters to attend to, so you'll be... excuse me, duty calls. So basically, you send the Warrior of Light with the invitation that has this look of, you'll be disappointing the Warrior of Light if you don't show up, and she will find out about it. Right? That's how this is gonna work? The disappoint... See this look of disappointment. This was caused by you. Would you want to disappoint the, Warrior of Light? When she's done so much for you. Of course it'll work on Graha. Start playing the song In the Arms of the Angels with the puppy eye look of, look at all the Warrior of Light does for you. Why can't you come with this invitation since she's inviting you now? Thanks for coming. It should come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for a whole bloody nation has kept a man busy, but Rhaegar, it is something else. The hardest part's been gathering information on those who died on the war, especially when it comes to the skull and other conscripts. They're the ones we need to treat more carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin in all their painful detail, then we do a disservice to their victims, living and dead. But if we let the people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things we believe we would never do, then we perpetuate a different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing for the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with the members of each settlements around Grabania. I've sent 2 invitations to most of them already, but I was hoping you'd help me with the last 2. It's the Miraz Noon at Peering Stones and Sasara of Varnil. I've given 1 of each. Good that I've, become sworn sisters with the Anata. Or at least the gatekeepers. To be honest, I would be surprised if they refused, considering how their people suffered at the hands of the Skulls. But I hope we can remind them that deep down, we're all just people trying to survive and to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide and set us against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've concluded an account of my experiences with the Silver Griffins and the people I've met. Victims, collaborators, their friends, their family. Men and women who lived through it all. Survivors. Even if they refuse to join the ceremony, at least they will know, and hopefully understand, our reason for holding the event. Granted, I've not much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You'll be the one to deliver them and will make a world of difference, I'm sure. Yes, I repeat, I've got my boombox ready here with Arms of the Angel to go. Take care, won't you? So this kind of is telling my age for this joke. If Miraz and Noon and Sasara end up refusing the invitation, there'll be no faults of yours. At the very least, you'll have the chance to hear their thoughts on the matter. Greetings, friend. It's been too long since we last spoke. What brings you to my village? So the rumors are true. I need not read this letter in full to know its contents. I understand that Ragford's volunteers are working to support the families of the lost in war, which few will deny is a worthy cause, but to include the relatives of the Krana Lupai? The Skulls watched the Empire slay us in our thousands, and they still turned their cloaks and fought for our oppressors. You would ask us to mourn the death of those curs alongside their victims? You have every right to be angry and refuse. Arenvald wishes only that you read his account before coming to a decision. To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous. Very well. Family. As Nuna, my tribe is my family, and I know all too well the responsibility it brings. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience, my very soul. All are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspected some of the Skulls had been faced with the same self-choice, but to see how their sin suffered, suffered, I cannot say I do not understand, though I wish I did not. Their crimes will never be forgiven. They cannot be. But I, and any others who are willing, can offer our prayers to those tortured souls. I mean, these tortured souls and the men that they could have been. I accept the invitation, not on behalf of the M tribe, but as Miraz Nuna, though I will put the question to my people if they decide for themselves. I am also eager to make acquaintance of the person who wrote this letter. He is not one to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth, painful though it is to confront. The meeting will be a perfect opportunity to take his measure. He's awesome. He's cool. I will convey your friend's intent to the rest of the tribe before attending memorial ceremony. Those who cannot support it will not interfere. You'll have my word. Same. He's an Alphino, just with less scholarly, you know, background. Well, yesterday was the 10-hour stream because I couldn't fucking stop. We'll see. We will see. Welcome. To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit? We'll see how this goes. I make no promises on it not being. Or it will be one. I'd rather it not, but hey. Then it is as I suspected. There have been rumors that such a ceremony would take place. Although you have traveled far to make this invitation, I must decline. We cannot mourn the loss of the fallen if the Krana Lupai are to be counted among them. Like the Quilana, they chose to aid the Garlean oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our lands. Cowards and traitors all. And we are to assume that the Quilana who died fighting for the Empire will be honored as well? If so, there is all the more reason for us to refuse. Arenvald understands and accepts you might refuse. He only requests that you read his account, then decide. If you insist. Snake woman. Yes, I love her hair. No one was spared suffering on the occupation. Not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both. No one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, and having sold their souls to only lose everything is a tragedy and a lesson. She might sell snake milk. Would we milk her? Hew, 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 hew. If they are forgotten, then the lessons of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land, we call home. I will join you in remembrance and implore my people to do the same. In mourning, we may strengthen our ties with our neighbors as well. But, see, Together, facing our past, we can build a foundation for lasting peace and prosperity. It would be my honor to attend the proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Arenvald for his dedication. I and my peers will have much to learn from the example he has set. Would I be correct in guessing your friend does not often scribe such letters? I could not help but notice he has forgone the usual platitudes and fancy phrasing. His directness is most refreshing. I would say, this is a fantasy world. Let us have our fantasy! Also, you can milk a snake, but that's usually milking it for its venom. I'm having a fancy... Yes. How did you fare in the fringes? They said that about me? It's rare to get such glowing praise, especially from renowned leaders such as Sasara and Maraz Noon. Buying a house, being rich. Yeah, I know. Affording groceries is a key one. That's really nice. Affording medication. And more importantly, though, they agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. After all, I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation when it's hand-delivered by the Warrior of Light herself. Yeah. I was making a joke about that, yes. But before I get ahead of myself, though, I must remember this is only the beginning. Bringing everyone together is one thing. Coming to an agreement on an extremely decisive issue is a completely different kettle of fish entirely, as Her Grace was quick to point out. But she has taught me, for our cause is just and our hearts are true, that all those like my will surely answer the call. I mean, yeah, getting out, but I mean, you also have to, you know, have a prescription, you know, have a doctor that, you know, can write the prescription in the country outside, you know. Except if it's an out-of-country one, accept prescriptions from a different country. And answer it they have. While there are bound to be differences in opinion, I'm sure there's nothing we can't oversee if we put our minds to it. To that end, I was hoping you could join us. If you have the time to spare, I am here, yes. There are still a few loose ends Ragford and I need to clear up beforehand, so we'll meet you in the palace as soon as we can. Just hang there while, having you there will make a world of difference. Like I said, I'm level 90. I'm probably just gonna go through this entire, you know, set. Oh yeah, there are a lot of taking treatment vacations. Like, absolutely. Here for the meeting, yes? And still no chairs or tables to sit the fuck at. So, while we all agree upon the importance of the ceremony, we recognize that the inclusion of the crowned lupi will just be distressing for many. I too lost family at their hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But for all their crimes, they are Alamegans, just like us. None made the decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice, and they chose to betray us. Troublemaker. Who among us have not made difficult choices for kith and kin? And do not forget that Fadola chose to stand between us and a primal. What does that have to do with it? Brothers and sisters, arguing will avail us not. I mean, the thing is, there's a difference between arguing and discussing, and I don't think they were really arguing in the sense of... People don't tell the difference of that anymore anyways. The fate of Alamego rests on my shoulders and yours. On those of every woman, man, and child that call these lands home. To uphold our honor and to strive for prosperity, to protect our loved ones. We all know the weight of these responsibilities. 'Twas the self-same weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. Though they chose a different, unconscionable path, in the end, we all wanted the same thing. To deliver our families from persecution, and they might live to see one more day. Because another day in shame and self-hatred was better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair. A despair that threatens to drag us all into an abyss from where there is no escape. Know that it surely will if we welcome it into our hearts out of disdain for those we cannot forgive. But we Alamegans will not be so easily defeated. We stand united and conquer this menace. Have we told them what's causing the blasphemy is because of the despair? Because I think it's only the main leaders that are being told this. And every Alamegan who fought and died so in the hopes of one day we would be free. And we are free. We are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we are free. Free to lock away the pain and pretend that it has no power over us until it festers and takes us in our bed. And free to lay it bare and let it breathe, to acknowledge and mourn our people at their best and at their worst. The past is ours to bear, for all of it, for ourselves and for future generations, so they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alamego a nation where no man is left behind. Where he can make all the wrong choices and still be afforded the chance to make a right one. Oh, so not America. Unless you're rich. That went better than any of us could have hoped for. You have my gratitude for your part in the proceedings, but we both know who the real hero of today was. My part is the usual part, standing there looking stoic and nodding. This was all Arenvald's idea, and it was his words that finally won over the naysayers. Now we have the community leaders on our side. We should have a much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. Of course, holding the ceremony is by no means our final objective. No matter what we say, some will refuse to attend. It is my hope, however, that it will still serve to prove a measure of closure for all of us, and ease the plight of the vulnerable and ostracized. Speaking of which, you will recall the incident with Fadola in Algana. The young girl she saved and her mother wished to thank her personally. Considering what happened last time, though, I have my reservations. It would be a valuable opportunity to present a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be, and that before taking her echo into consideration. But that's a conversation for another day. Go, get some rest. You've earned it. Good, I'm gonna rest for 10 seconds. Unless I have to get further into the storyline. Nope, I don't. Okay. Something terrible has happened. Oh, really? Fadola, she's escaped! Oh no! She was accompanied by a squad out on a training exercise. One moment she was there, and the next she was gone. Didn't think much of it at the time, but she's been acting strangely ever since she went to meet the mother and child. You know, the ones who wanted to thank her for saving the girl's life. When I told Commander Alden about it, he went charging off to Algana to ask them if they had any idea where Fadola might be. I thought about going after him, but I heard you were headed this way, and I reckon it'd be better to send you in my stead. Godspeed, Ishnai. You didn't want to face off against the bull. Fine, I'll face off against the bull. We'll have fun with it, too. After all, he is in my harem, but he's very busy, so I'd rather not, you know, drag him around too many times. Gods be good. What was she thinking? I know you. You're friends with the brave lady, aren't you? Have we done something wrong? Ishnai, I wasn't expecting to see you here. You've heard what's happened, then. Just as Fadola was beginning to earn our trust, she's given us the slip. As you may know, she wears a choker enchanted to prevent exactly that. If I were to give the order, she'd be dead within moments, and she knows that. She took the risk anyways, so I have to believe she has a good reason. That's what we're looking into now. We were hoping Clarel and young Lyle here could shed some light in the matter. We'd like to ask you about your conversation with Fadola, if we may. Yes, of course. I know she's the butcher, well, was at least, but that didn't seem right to go without thanking her. That's why I requested to meet her, to express my gratitude and my apologies. She was quiet at first, just stood there as we spoke, as if she wasn't even listening. And then I mentioned the blasphemy, and she looked at Lyle and suddenly clutched her own head and cried out in agony. The echo. Can you remember what you were thinking at the time? A man, the one I saw in the city. What? Who? Did he have something to do with all the people panicking? I think he did. When I was waiting for you, I saw him. He was by himself. He looked poorly, so I asked him if he was all right, and he said yes. He had a nice smile. He got up and started walking, but then... He was shouting and screaming. I was so frightened, I didn't want to talk about it, not even to Mom. I wish you would have said something sooner. I'm sorry, Papa. This is my fault for leaving you out on your own. The man who turned into blasphemy, I wager. The girl saw him, which means Fadola has now seen him too. There was one other thing. When Fadola was having her, funny turn, she said something... Charlie? No, Charlotte, I think. Yes, that was it. Ring any bells? Can't say it does, but if he has anything to do with the skulls, the Silver Griffins should have more information on him. We'd best have a word with Arenvald then. You both were very helpful. I'd also like to thank you for being so kind to Fadola. She may not have said it, but it meant a lot to her. I have a couple more things I'd like to ask, so I'll catch up with you later. I know they probably don't have it animated, but I'd still want to see how he gets around. I am sorry. Whatever she's dealing with, she needn't face it alone. I wish I could have told her that, even though she probably wouldn't have listened. Where did the brave lady go? Fadola may well be everything people say she is or worse, but she did us a good turn that day, and I'll never forget it. I have a feeling this Charlotte and Fadola are connected in some way. Yeah, a brother. Little brother of somebody. Sad memes do. Ah. Charlotte, you say? Yes, that name came up during our recent investigations. As I recall, he served under the Viceroy during the occupation. His whereabouts are currently unknown. Had an older brother named Asfred, one of the Canalopi, which would give him a connection to Fadola. Is there anyone who could tell us more about him? Yes, an uncle who We recently helped find employment here in Algana. He is actually the one who asked us to look for Charlotte. You'll most likely find him working in the Sleeping Stones. As it happens, I was planning on bringing him something to eat. I'll join you there shortly. Once again, happy I got the flying. Should have asked what he looks like. That was stiff walking. Still looking, eh? That's him over there. I hope we're not interrupting in the middle of the night. No, of course not. It's good to see you, Ragfred. My word, the Bull of Alamigo and the Champion of the Alliance. What brings such esteemed guests to our humble, quarry? Eddie is my good fellow. We merely wish to ask about your nephew. Charlotte, you found him? No luck yet, then. If there's anything you can tell us, more about his childhood, perhaps. It wasn't much of one, I'm afraid. The poor boy's life was ruined long before he had anything to say in the matter. His parents and I swore allegiance to Garlemald to secure ourselves and our kin's citizenship. For all the good it did us here, living amongst our countrymen who treated us like pariahs. It took a toll on it. It took its toll on him and his brother, so he spat on his traitors by association. One thing led to another, and Adsfrid, and together with most of his friends, joined the Imperial Army. That's how it started, you know, the Crowny Lupi, Gaius' loyal little pups. Do you remember the names of these friends? Yes, they had quite the reputation growing up. There was Emmeline Hoofdrof, an angry little girl who grew up to be known the butcher, become the butcher herself, Fodorla. Charlotte was part of their group too, yes, but from what I heard, he chose not to become a soldier. He wouldn't have lasted a day in training. He knew better than anyone, of course. Not that it helped him feel any less guilty for turning his back on the others. He blamed himself for their deaths, for not stopping them when he had the chance, for not being strong enough to fight by their side. Maybe save them, maybe not, but he wasn't there, and he wished he had been. Then one day, he was gone. Wherever he is, I hope he's safe and well. Sure! So do we. Thank you for the information you shared. Thank you. The information you shared should have proved useful. And for you, I brought some food. Why don't you call it a day and go and enjoy it with your family? Let him have his peace for now. Back to Alagana. Well, it said you and your family, so I'm guessing he has a wife or kids or something. Cat. What you doing, cat? Hey, Apocalypse, you said you got a new, kitten through the, kitten distribution service. You had 3 other cats before. How is Luna settling in? You named him Luna, right? The little girl's worried about Fadola. As for her, the mother, well, it's complicated. Understandable, really. Once we know for certain what's become of Charlotte, we'll have to tell his uncle. So, not only was his brother a member of the Skulls, but Charlotte himself was a childhood friend of Fadola's. I'm told he refused to support the Silver Griffins as well. He's been trying to make his own way for some time now. His brother and his friends died in the Spectra Imperial Taurus, save for Fadola, and gods only know how he felt about her after that. Or how Fadola felt about Charlotte after seeing Laia's memory of him transforming into a blasphemy. Brother of a man she killed and the childhood friend besides. She thinks she's responsible for this. That's why she ran. To kill the beast. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm worried about her. Fadola is a survivor and an outcast herself. Exactly the sort of person the Silver Griffins are trying to support. You've seen for yourself the sacrifices she's willing to make, and if you can learn to feel sympathy for her, maybe others can too. I think we have enough information for the time being. Let us return to the city and move our next plans. As the saying goes, history is written by the victor. No age, those who swore loyalty to Garlemald never thought they'd find themselves on the losing side. But they did, and they paid the price. Paid a price. Maybe not enough for some, but we've got to draw the line somewhere. To some, Fadola is a monster worse than any blasphemy, but I've seen enough working with the Silver Griffins to realize it's never that simple. I want to believe there's hope for her, and there's hope for all of us. Yes, cat. No cat. I've assigned a few of my soldiers to to assist the Silver Griffins in investigating Charlotte's background. With luck, we'll find him quickly, and then we can prepare for what must come after. We're all but certain Charlotte's the one who's transformed into a blasphemy, and there's not to be done but put him out of his misery. As Fadola, I put Monago and her troops in charge of tracking her. Once they found her, they have my permission to lend what other support they deem necessary. If it comes to it, I may ask you to join the search, which it probably will, literally in a second or two. Until such time, I ask you to take this opportunity to rest. Okay, it's been a second. I've rested. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. The blasphemy hunter is in more flesh than usual for good reason. Thank goodness you're here! Commander Aladdin needs to see you right away. Follow me! Good that I don't have a pearl link or anything, but you know. If I really was far away. Keep it contained until I arrive, but do not engage if you can help it. Understood? That was Monago. Her unit found Fedora, or rather, she found them. In fact, I have Fadola in the search party's pearl link. She wants a word with you. This is urgent, so be quiet and listen. Yes, because I am a yappy type of character. The blasphemy, my friend, is right in front of us. I tracked him down, and when he spotted me, he started heading towards Spectra Imperatoris. Look, Ishnai, I need your help. Charles not... He never wanted to hurt anyone. But this thing he's become... I can't leave him like this. Got to stop him, no, whatever it takes. Wait till we get there. Do not engage. Is that clear? I owe you. This is Monago. Can you hear me? We've got the blasphemy surround... Ugh, it's on the move! Get ahead of it, but maintain distance! We need to... Fadola! What are you doing? Fadola! Fadola! There's no time to waste. They need our help. Yeah, we were still standing here when we could have, you know, kept walking. Wonder how she's gonna pay. Look, I'm quite sure she has enough trauma that she'll come to my harem if she wants to. That's all I'm gonna say. Rager's beard, once she's got her mind set, there's no stopping her. She's convinced herself she's responsible for this mess, and that she's created the blasphemy single-handedly. All I'd ask is that you see she makes it out of this alive. She's come so far, and I don't want to lose her. Though I could just ship the two of them together. Radada and Alagiri are not far from Spectra Imperadors. If we are to let the blasphemy slip through our fingers, there's nothing to bear about it. While Fadola is determined to slay it with her own hands, we can't allow her recklessness to put the lives of the others in jeopardy. Time has come for action. Are you ready? Hold the line for as long as you can. Commander Alden and the Warrior of Light will be here at any moment. Stay strong. Kick him in the balls, why don't you? God! You're done well. Leave the rest to us. Yes, sir. Nope, I am saying he kicked him in the balls. That's the reason why you can't see him. Coward! Traitor to them. Everyone! Like, he made sure the balls no longer hung down. I wish there was another way. So do I, but fighting's the only thing I'm good at. Makes me wonder how I ended up as such a clever brother. Too clever for my own good, maybe. Just the thought of going to battle, about getting hurt, about having to hurt other people. He's a bleeding heart, our, Charlotte. Sooner befriend a fly than shoo it away, much less kill it. I could kill if I wanted. I could... But you don't, and there's no shame in that. Leave the soldiering to us, Charlotte. I should probably give her the accent that she does have that kind of is this accent, but not quite. We'll show the Guardians what we're capable of. That's a bit too strong on that one now, so get the power we deserve and respect and deserve, and things will change. They will. You'll see. Well, it's a bit more Irish than Scottish. We've found our place for ourselves, and you'll find yours soon enough. Alright, that'll do. Everyone who's listening, meet back here tomorrow. In the end, what good did I do? They gave everything they had to give, while I hid like a rat waiting for the storm to pass. Coward. 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 I'm not gonna do that scream. Sometimes these screams I'm sitting here going, I don't want Mom running up the stairs to ask if I'm okay. Coward! Coward! Better dead, better forgotten. It's not your fault, Charlie. It's not. You didn't do anything wrong, and I'm the coward, the traitor, the butcher. I'll always be the butcher. Don't you dare, Fadola! You don't get to end it. You don't get to give up. I won't let you. You have a lifetime to make amends and atone, to become something more than you were. But if you die here, you're everything they say, everything you believe. Is that what you want? She's not going anywhere. It moves on its own! Oh, no it doesn't. Damn. How the fuck you get here? I mean, look at the bumps on the ramp thing. Arenvald, why are you here? There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I can't fight by your side, but I can still cheer you on. Somebody give him fucking pom-poms. God. I've seen your past, Charlotte. How you were left behind while your friends rushed into battle. It's bloody hard, isn't it? Wanting to do something so desperately with every fiber of your being, knowing that you should be able to. You should, but you can't. So you find another way to support them. Your way. You did that too, didn't you? You were there for them even if it didn't feel like it. But you were, Charlotte. You were. As a friend of mine once said, not all heroes are forged in the fires of battle. No, but she does ask Danny if you're okay. The history of Alamigo is written in blood. While we cannot change the past, we can change the future. And for that, we must all play our part. All of us. You too, Fedora. Astrid, Emmeline, one day we'll be together again, but not yet. You'll never hurt anyone, Charlotte. It's not who you are. You'll be remembered as the kind soul you always were. So I rip past the night, chase the primal light. I'm counting on you. Well, I am an astrologer, so I do use stars. So counting is involved. Dreams. Cat.
As one!
Oh, we're doing this. Okay. Hi, 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 hi. Thank you, sweetie. I thought it was gonna be like in the... whatchamacallit?
Show them what we're made of!
Where you get knocked up in the heaven on high. Oops. But then again, I do have... Oops. Don't exactly have the highest... items.
As one!
Also, it's been a while actually since I've run as a healer for Astrologian in the sense of something like this. Also, I wish that I had the thing right there in the quarter. Excuses, excuses, I know. It's fine. I think I'm gonna be able to do this, hopefully. If I have problems again with it, I will question, but for right now...
Bastards!
Show them what we're made of!
It's supposed to automatically... Alright, thank you so much for joining! I hope you sleep well, hon!
What is honor?
Try this!
There we go. That's sweet. Thank you. I mean it. I ship it. I ship it. I ship it. Too bad a healer isn't there to, like, help Minago over there. You know, heal her. Since she's holding her arm like she's hurt. Been looking everywhere for you. Have you now? Yeah, nothing a little stabbing can't fix. I know, right? Did you see my earlier, or hear my earlier comment asking how your new, kidding distribution adoptee is? We put down the last remaining beasts spawning by the blasphemy. 'Tis a pity we could do naught for those who turned, but is that we were able to prevent further casualties is nothing short of a miracle. It's astonishing, too, looking back on Charlotte's case. Although his existence spurred others into transformation, he never attacked any settlements or travelers. Even when he underwent the change in the middle of the crowded street, those who were present escaped with minor injuries at worst. I think deep down, his compassion is what kept the raging blasphemy at bay. The only time he emerged from hiding was to journey to the place where his brother died. It's clear he still retains some semblance of his former self. Another victim of the Empire's terrible legacy, along with his friends and so many others. But the Crane Lupai wasn't a creation of the Imperials alone. Many of those youths sought a place with them because they were denied one with us. That's why the memorial ceremony is so important. It is our chance to face our past together, to give them in death what we couldn't in life. Not to deny anyone a place in memory, even if it hurts or makes us feel ashamed. You'll be attending, won't you? I haven't been ordered to, so I suppose not. In light of your leal services to Alamigo, I intend to have the conditions by which you are bound eased. Provided I'm able to obtain approval, you'll be granted such a degree of freedom. At the very least, we should have no need for that choker. There'll be no objections from me. You've done well. Humph. To Sunday. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were smiling. Well, I for one couldn't be happier for her efforts being recognized. Gives me much more motivation to continue my work with the Silver Griffins and bring the people of Alamigo closer together. Gotta do my best to keep with a certain lordling, eh? I think we've done enough for one day. Time we get some rest. Got some rest. Allow me as both guardian of Alamigo and your sworn comrade and harem member to express my thanks for coming to our aid in these desperate times. No matter what matter of disaster may befall us, your presence alone is enough to keep the flames of hope burning bright. I, even someone at the very precipice of despair as Fidola, can find salvation in your guiding light. Laying it on a bit thick, aren't you? Am I? Both Monago and Arenvald said the same thing. I must be eating soft in my old age. In any case, it's safe to say we all benefited enormously from your sterling work here. I did very, very little. I just showed up and allowed people to talk in front of me. We couldn't ask for a better healer. Yeah, at the end, that was pretty much the only thing I did. Or a better friend. Or lover, huh? Our ambassador at Razat Han will be relieved to learn of our success here. If you happen to cross paths, give him my regards, would you? Map, the gift of mercy. I'll go ahead and pick up the other one while I'm there. Wait, I can teleport there. And what I'm probably going to do is after I turn this in, I'm going to be good and actually do a 5-hour stream for once. Woo! Greeting, how goes it in Alamigo? Eliminating blasphemies and helping organize a memorial ceremony? They've certainly kept you busy. A fine example of going above and beyond the call of duty. I'll be sure to send words of your exploits to Udal. Wait till the Satana hears about this. Her Grace will not only be the only one to welcome this news. On behalf of the Grand Company of Eorzea and our allies, allow me to express my most heartfelt gratitude. Actually, I'm just going to end it here so I can bookend it. Die job-specific gear. Once you have fulfilled certain conditions. Okay. Cool. Alright. 5-hour club. I know, right? For once. So let's see who we are going to raid real quick. The other reason why I'm suddenly stopping is I'm suddenly feeling like I'm going to throw up. So that's probably a big big pointing towards. I don't know why. Alright, y'all. This was Ishnai Ciarfox. I hope you have a good day or night whenever it is, wherever it is you currently are. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment. I got somebody. Night.